I'll do it first. Okay. Commissioner Grabowski.
Here.
Commissioner Hoff.
Here.
Commissioner Belt.
Here.
Trustee Rhodey.
Yep.
President Knutson.
Here. And for those of you who have not met our new administrator, this is Matt Heiser. He's taken over for Scott since Scott retired. And Mackenzie here will be taking over for Jenna. Jenna's here to help her get acquainted.
First meeting.
Yeah.
Great to meet you. Look forward to getting to know you more.
Okay, first agenda item, public hearings. Conditional use grant request of applicant Maggie Spada to construct a 1,938 square foot office building with existing detached garage approximately 550 square feet, proposed to remain in place with a 5.5 side lot offset where a 10-foot offset is required, section 40.270, and with an approximately 2-foot public alley offset where a 15 setback is required, section 40.269. The proposed building is a single-story principal structure where a 1.5-story structure is required, section 40.26517. This 0.2 acre parcel located at 316 Oaken Avenue, PWV 0899009, is zone B2 Downtown Business District. Property owner is Positivo LLC. I hereby open up the public hearing. Is there anybody in the room that wants to make a comment as it relates to that subject? No? Okay, then I will close that public hearing. Item B, public hearing. Conditional use grant request of applicant WMG Acquisitions LLC to construct a 5,200 square foot professional dental office building. The proposed parking lot is offset less than 20 feet from the northern property line, which is permissible only through the issuance of conditional use grant section 40.259. This 0.9 acre parcel is zone B1 Community Business District located at PWV 09019840003. Property owner is Meadow Creek Limited Partnership. I hereby open up the public hearing. Would anybody like to make a comment as it relates to that particular subject?
I'm just here if you have any questions to represent WMG. I'm Dorinda Marvin.
I'm sorry?
I'm Dorinda Marvin. I'm just here if you have any questions for me as the applicant.
Okay,
What do you?
thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions? Okay, we'll close that one. Item C, conditional use grant request of applicant Kim Salmons to allow a daycare use which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant, section 40.281. This parcel is zone B3 Office and Service District located at 1155 Coyle Court, PWV 0903102. Property owner is New Health Building LLC. I hereby open up the public hearing. Anybody would like to make comment on that particular item? Okay, oops. You have to excuse me a minute, I just lost my feed. Okay, then we're gonna close that public hearing. And the last one is conditional use grant request of applicant owner Kevin and Aaron Ark to construct a 960 square foot accessory structure. The proposed accessory structure is located 3 feet from the side offset, which is permissible only to issue of a conditional use grant, section 40.2104. The property is located at 214 First Street, PWV 0899252. I hereby open up the public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment as it relates to that particular item? Okay, well then I'm gonna close that public hearing. Next item on item 3, citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with commission members on any topic they choose. However, due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the commission is not able to answer questions or respond to your comments. All comments should be directed to the commission. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers are asked to please use the podium and state their name and address for the record. Is there anybody here that would like to make a comment on anything they would like to choose to talk about? No? Not even the Brewers? Okay. Then we'll move on. Item 4, approval of the regular planning commission meeting dated July 11th, 2024. I hope the commission has had a chance to look over all the information presented this evening. Are there any questions, comments, corrections as the way it is presented? If there isn't, I'll look for a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve Rhodey as presented.
Second, Belt.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are hereby adopted. Item 5, we have old business. Review, discussion, and possible action on a conditional use grant request of applicant Maggie Spada to construct a 1,938 square foot office building with the existing detached garage approximately 555 square feet proposed to remain in place with a 5.5 foot side offset where a 10-foot offset is required. Section 40.270 and approximately 2-foot public alley offset where a 15-foot setback is required. Section 40.269. The proposed building is single-story principal structure where a 1.5-story structure is required. Section 40.26517. This 0.2 acre parcel located at 316 Oakland Avenue, PWV 0899009 is Zone B2 Downtown Business District. Property owner is Positivo LLC. I will ask the commission, are there any questions, comments, or anything that they have as it relates to this particular subject? We discussed this, I believe, at the last meeting, kind of constated. If there are no questions or comments, would somebody like to make a motion?
I just have one question.
Yes.
Tim, are you still waiting for materials related to this application?
I'm sorry.
Are you waiting for any materials related to this application?
Yes, there's actually, at the last meeting and along with my report from this time, there is a site plan or site grading plan that I'm looking for.
Okay.
I had a discussion with the applicant and they indicated that they'd like to get through the conditional use to determine if this is moving forward. And if that happens, they would then proceed with getting the surveyor engineer out there to create that plan and bring it back, or allow staff to review whatever you want.
Okay. So any approval then should be subject to Tim's review and approval of the site and grading plan? Is that
Site and
right?
grading plan, and there's some other comments from our village director of public works. And so if it's approved subject to my staff report, that would be adequate if you so choose.
Okay, yes, sir.
There was also a question in regard to the architecture on the old garage, whether there was going to be improvements made. I assume we would want some improvements to made, whether it's painting or whatever else.
To maintain the aesthetics of the new building.
I'm sorry?
To maintain the aesthetics to the
Yes.
new building.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that we talked about that. Because there was not gonna be any changes to the building itself because it is how it is set. And there was no attachment, but is there someone here that can talk to that?
Last year it was a remodel, it was a.
Hang on, can you go up there, or maybe just recording yourself for the records?
State your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, John Lang, North 81, West 32092, Shenandoah Court, Heartland. And I'm here in Fort Maggie Spada. That garage last year new windows were put in, and then it was repainted, and there were some repairs made on the outside, and a permit was pulled for that. So it has been improved.
So the buildings will match.
Can you answer on matching?
Pete Weston, the Design Alliance Architects, 1003 Madison Avenue, Fort Atkinson. I'm not authorized on Maggie's behalf to say, yes, we're doing this or that. If there's a mandate, she seems pretty amenable to things. But as I understand it, her hope was to leave the barn same, and manage it according to her business needs, community needs, et cetera. If it becomes a mandate as part of this, that's up to you folks.
Any other questions or comments? So if there's going to be a motion, it would be with the approvals of the planner and Tim,
Engineer.
staff.
And I would just point out there are 12 conditions on the staff summary. I think you have a copy of that carried over from last month, if you think those are sufficient. And then I think you had some conditions in yours.
Yeah.
Maybe
Same conditions as last month.
Okay.
So are we looking for a continuity in looks between the building and the garage? Are we just happy that it's just maintained? What is our,
That's up to the commission. I don't know if we really,
You can discuss it. That's a condition you can.
if you
attach.
want to, you can put it in there, I guess.
I'm just kind
You
of,
feel comfortable with that?
they're doing a very very lovely process on the building already with the dark colors and and that'll be an entrance area in the back with the, an entrance area with the parking. I just want to make sure that we're consistent, and as Bob had said, we had discussed it last month, so.
With the investment that's being made on the building, I would hope that you would want the ancillary building to also look as nice.
Yeah, I'm confident the business interests will take care of that
Okay.
in its own right.
I know that we discussed the fact that there's no moving of it, there's no tearing down, there's no anything because of where it already exists and already on there. So of course, we don't want to touch anything that way, but just aesthetically, we had talked about if it would look the same.
So would someone like to make a motion if we're all okay with this?
I'll go ahead and make a motion with the planner's recommendation along with the engineers and signing off at the staff level.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second, Rhodey.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried.
Thank you.
Okay, item B, review, discussion, and possible action on the proposed business site plan. Applicant Maggie Spada to construct a 1,938 square foot building, this 0.2 acre parcel located at 316
Same one?
Oakton Avenue, PWV 0899009 is Zone B2 Downtown Business District. Property owner is Positivo LLC. Again, if does anyone have a question or comment as it relates to this particular one? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve the proposed business site plan as proposed.
With the planners and engineers recommendation.
Sure, with the planners and engineers' recommendations.
Okay.
Second, Felt.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried.
Conditional use versus.
Item 6, new business. Review, discussion, and possible action on conditional use grant request of applicant WMG Acquisitions LLC to construct a 5,200 square foot professional dental office building. The proposed parking lot is offset less than 20 feet from the northern property line, which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant section 40.259. This 0.9 acre parcel is zone B1 business, community business district located at PWV 0901984003. Property owner is Meadow Creek Limited Partnership. I will look to Ben.
Yeah, so this is a multi-pronged application here. This is the first of the considerations for this request. This request actually, upon review by staff and legal staff, was determined that it does not need a conditional use grant to offset and vary the required setback requirements for the parking. And actually, it's just a waiver request. And so as such, it's really up to the Plan Commission whether or not they want to grant the waiver request to reduce the parking lot setback as it's specified there in the paragraph language there.
So that waiver would occur in any approval of the business site plan. The upshot is this is not something that our code requires goes through a conditional use process. So really, the commission is not taking any action on 6A. We would move to 6B.
We can bypass this.
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll move on to B. Review, discussion, and possible action on a business site plan request of applicant WMGF Acquisitions LLC 5,200 square foot professional dental office building. The 0.9 acre parcel located at PWV 0901984003 is Zone B1 Community Business District. Property owner is Meadow Creek Limited Partnership. Again, are there any questions, comments, or anything as it relates to this particular item?
Do we want to discuss C at the same time?
You gotta take one.
I know, but when we talk at we'll approve them, but when we talk with the planner, can we address everything at once, or? Proceed. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Just goes,
Did you want Ben to go through this, or are we okay with? Do we need to have?
Yeah, could Ben, for my edification.
Okay, go ahead.
And kind of like I said, this is a multi-pronged request here, so we're doing about 3 actions here. The first action, technically, they're going to carve off a lot, which is a certified survey map request, which is actually item C.
Right.
This item B is going to be the site plan upon which they would, this is their ideas and their proposal for how they would like to develop this. And so staff has reviewed their request as far as the standards, the measurable standards that are in the village code. The Plan Commission actually has the ability to review the architecture proposed. I think you've had those plans in front of you. You also have the ability to review the landscaping proposed. You also have the ability to review the general site and layout of the proposal. They're proposing the parking area on the westerly portion, 3/4 of the property, generally speaking, and then on the eastern side is where they want to situate the actual structure. It's a single-story structure. They're proposing like a brick color of earth tones, black banding, architectural shingles on the roof, and they are proposing for plantings along the roadway on the private side. This is a private roadway, private development. And so, as such, staff has reviewed this request, generally finds it meets all the standards that one would expect to come forward. There were some conditions staff would like to place on this. I mean, generally speaking, let me just go through here. So we talked a little bit about, I'll just kind of go through my staff summary, if you don't mind, on some of the elements here. So the use is obviously we're going to do a dental office building. It's going to be, the one access drive will be from the west, if the Plan Commission, is okay with that. The proposed structure is about 5,200 square feet. So as far as impervious surface area, they're under the 65% requirement, I believe, is what they were obligated. They're coming in at 63%, so that checks out. Traffic circulation, they're not proposing, this is a private street, they're not proposing any walkways that I could tell along the private street area. So the only way in and out would be to drive in and out of this property, just so the planning commission's aware of that. Landscaping, they are showing 2.5-inch plantings of oaks, lindens, maples, poplar, and linden trees on the perimeter along the private streets. And they also are providing for landscape islands in their interior parking area, which satisfies the standards in the ordinance. They are also proposing for exterior lighting. They are showing the lighting at measuring up to 25 feet height for the poles, which checks out with the village standard of 25 feet. They did supply a light plan that shows the foot candle measurements as proposed, and so it does check out as well at property lines at 0-foot candles. So generally speaking, they're going to limit the light pollution. They're going to propose shielding on the lights. Signage, any new signage that's proposed, they are showing a monument sign with plantings positioned near the entrance on the western side. They would have to come forward with a formal permit request to be reviewed by staff in order for that to be approved. Engineering plans, I know engineering, I think you've had a chance to look at this. And as far as that end of things, the site plan and plan of operations, if you're inclined, staff is proposing 12 conditions of approval on the staff summary. I tried to break down each subsection of, certified survey map and conditions, site plan and conditions, and that was at the conclusion of the staff summary. Are there any questions, or do you need clarification on any of the plans that were submitted? I think the applicant may be here as well.
Could you just explain the waiver aspect for the commission that they're looking for?
Sure. So the waiver aspect, along the northern property limits here, I'll do my best here to zoom in. So in a nutshell, they're proposing, they're showing 6.5 feet separation from the proposed north property line to the edge of where the parking stalls would be, and I believe we require a higher setback than that. I think it's 20 feet. So that is part of the waiver request that they're requesting as part of the site plan. Thank you, Matt. And they are carving off the lot from an existing single parcel, so they're establishing that lot line, and they're showing 6.5 feet. And then on the west, from the private street, again, it's a private street right away that's shown 30 feet away. And then over here, from the south, they're meeting the 20-foot building setback, and then on the east side, they are meeting the 20-foot rear building parking setback as well. So they are providing green space, if you will, along the 3 sides. It's that northerly 4th side that they're showing at 6.5 feet. So that's up for consideration by the Planning Commission as well as part of this request. And currently, I understand the northern lot is not developed at this time.
Are there any other questions? I just had one. As a public building, it says on there non-sprinkled, sprinkler. Is that what the fire department has designated?
I'm not sure.
I noticed that when I was looking
That would be
at.
up to the architect, I believe, for that kind of language. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
I didn't draw these plans, I'm sorry. And I know
would
one of our
assume that he was
conditions would be
going
the
to
fire
check that
department
out.
would review and sign off. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Did you want me to walk through the conditions? Otherwise, they're in front of you if you want me to break them out, or if you need explanation on any of them.
No.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions then? If not, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan along with the approval of the recommendations from the planner.
An engineer?
And do I include the waiver, or is that a separate motion completely?
You can include it in this motion.
And I would also approve a waiver to allow the 6 foot. 0.6.
Did I hear a second?
Oh,
Did-
a second.
Sorry,
Sorry.
did you have a report on this one too?
I do, it's
Okay.
brief, but
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're including it in
okay.
any.
Just so that if they include it,
Yep.
If they've read it, they can just include it.
All right, so the motion includes that. You still okay with the second?
Yeah, Teresa Hoff, okay with the second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Item D.
C. Wait, was that A or B?
Let's see.
C, yeah.
Review, discussion, and possible recommendation to the village board to approve a certified survey map request of applicant Andrew Wilkowski, JSD Professional Services, Inc., to create 2 additional parcels labeled as Lot 18 and Lot 19 from the original parcel located at PWV 0901984003. Property owner is Meadow Creek Limited Partnership. Why don't you do this one real quick, Tim? Or Ben, I'm sorry.
So, like we discussed, this is basically a clean slate, if you will, for lack of a better term. I mean, you have all this single ownership of property, and what they're doing is they're establishing their lots where they'd like to develop a saleable property, it looks like. And so in order to do that, they've created a certified survey map with state and local standards. The 2 lots, you can see the sizes on there. I mean, the one is, what we had, 2.06 acres, and the southern lot is 1.109 acres. Both lots are zoned B1 with a PUD overlay, so that resulting lot, lot number 18, they're listing as, it could be as eligible for any B1 uses or any B1 conditional uses with the PUD overlay standards. So as far as staff is concerned, the lots resulting from the CSM do meet the lot minimum standards for sizes and allowances, and so therefore, should the Plan Commission, and staff is supportive of the request, and I know that the engineer has a report on this as well. And with that being said, the planner is generally recommending approval if the Plan Commission is inclined to recommend that. And in addition to the 2 conditions of any conditions the Plan Commission would like to impose on the CSM, and that all engineering comments are satisfied for the CSM prior to the village signature and recording of the document.
Yeah, and just a quick update is I did make comments to the surveyor. They did take care of those comments, and I received a updated certified survey map dated August 6th, 2024. So that would be the CSM that would be approved. Everything else has been taken care of.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Would someone like to make a motion?
Just trying to find this here. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the notes.
I may be confused. Are we approving that the use be for the daycare? Are we?
No.
No.
using-
This is splitting the
certified
lot.
survey.
This is still the dental office.
See,
This is
yeah.
a certified survey map that goes along with it.
Thank you. I was like, wow, that
This is
really
a
looks.
recommendation to be sent to the village board to approve.
I was like, wait a second, that really looks like the rectangular from the other one, but okay.
I'll make a motion that we, to approve the advancement to the village board. All right, is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recommendation to the board for approval.
Yeah, recommendation to the board for approval of the certified survey map.
Do I have a second?
Just a quick question, do we have
Yeah.
to pull out the dating that Tim mentioned?
CSM. I would, or just with the planners and engineers' recommendation.
It's an engineer's recommendations.
Okay,
Second, Rody.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby adopted. Review, discussion, and action, and possible action on conditional use grant request of applicant Kim Salmons to allow a daycare use which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant. Section 40.2801. This parcel is zoned B3 Office and Service District located at 1155 Quail Court, PWV 0903102. Property owner is New Health Building LLC. Are there any questions or comments as it relates to this particular topic?
I would just like to add that, you have a staff report in front of you as well from myself. I mean, if you want me to go through it and cover the basics, I can. Otherwise, if you want to proceed onward, you certainly can. Generally speaking, staff found that we're recommending 12 conditions of approval on there. So the landscaping shrubs would be something that we would require to be placed on the parking island as you enter the site. The refuse enclosure doors probably should be considered to be repaired and painted. That's a condition of approval for consideration by the Plan Commission that I've included when we looked at the property and kind of said this would meet the standards of the Village of Pewaukee prior to formal occupancy of this structure. And then you have the other conditions. I mean, I'm not going to read through them for the sake of time unless you want me to, but there are 12 total. And those were some inclusions that might be a little more particular to this this request, just so you're aware.
Jim, do you have anything?
No, not on this one.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? If not, I'll look for a motion, either approve or deny.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the business site plan and conditional use grant request for Just Like Grammys for the property located at 1155 Quail Court, along with the conditions set forth by our.
A second?
Okay, we have a
Teresa?
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Review, discussion, and possible action on conditional use grant request of applicant, owner Kevin and Aaron Art to construct a 960 square foot accessory structure. The proposed accessory structure is located 3 feet from the side offset, which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant, section 40.210-4. The property is located at 214 First Street, PWV 0899252. Again, is there any questions or comments as it relates to this particular item from the Planning Commission? Ben, do you want to give us a quick overlay?
Yes. We pull up the property here. I have a good sense for what they're talking about here. Okay. Working on my presentation skills here. Bear with me. All right, I think I got it. At least explain properly. All right. So the petitioners are requesting approval of a conditional use to allow for a new accessory garage to be built 3 feet from their northern property line, as their submittals had shown. The property is in the R5 single-family residential zoning district, and it allows for accessory structures to be less than 10 feet from the side property lines if a conditional use is approved by the Planning Commission, and that's what the village standards call out. So you have the applicant proposing, they're proposing to remove their existing 18 by 18 garage. It exists on the property today, of course, and then they're proposing to do a 24 by 40, or 960 square feet on the property, and I'm presenting the plan that they've supplied. It looks like the proposed garage is outlined in yellow with a dashed line there on the plan. So as far as reviewing that, the existing garage is fairly secluded. The future requested garage would generally remain in the same place, as you can see there. No building elevations of what the future garage would look like were submitted at this time. I think they're just seeking the approval first, is my hunch. And there's not really a standard of the village to expect that. But so the conditional use grant is subject to a grading plan showing no runoff onto the adjoining properties due to the construction of the new accessory structure. I mean, that's something we would expect. So as staff, we provided you a staff summary that outlines should you be inclined to recommend approval. We are providing you with 12 conditions of approval. That sounds familiar. that basically all the conditions of this meeting are met, should the Plan Commission offer any more in discussion with the applicant, and that the new accessory structure meet all building and zoning codes, including a height of no more than 15 feet, as we define height in the Village of Pewaukee. And then there's some other standards there, but those are the highlights that I wanted to provide to you. And if you would like me to embellish any of the other 12 conditions, I'm happy to do so.
Tim?
Yeah, my main one was that we get a grading plan for this. It does slope off to an adjacent, towards the adjacent properties right now. So with additional rooftop and gutters and eave troughs, you know, we gotta make sure that the water is not gonna damage some adjacent property. The other item that I mentioned in my report is that this parcel is made up of 3 other lots, like partial lots of an old subdivision. You can kind of see the line. There's 3 different lots on there in the black line, and so over the years I've been trying to address these situations where it's all owned by one parcel under one tax fee, but technically those parcels are still there. Those lines are still there. So in essence, this garage is going, in my opinion, this garage is going over a lot line. It's not meeting a setback for that particular line. So communities that I'm working with tend to, and Waukesha County is tending to look at these and saying, this is our opportunity to clean that up and get a certified survey map to combine what we'll call, combine those lots into one lot, and in essence, erasing all those other lines. So I had put in my report that I would recommend that we ask for a certified survey map to eliminate those interior lines on this particular property as part of this approval.
Prior to approving this, we should get the survey map, or could we put that as part of the
No, you
approval?
make it a condition of approval.
It's a
I think
condition of the
what Tim is
approval.
saying. You can have the approval tonight, but a condition of that would be that they, before it's recorded, right, that they get the certified survey map.
Right.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments?
Can I make a comment quick?
Sure, you come up to the
Yeah.
microphone.
Aaron Ark, 214 First Street, Pewaukee, Wisconsin. We had a site survey done, so that's actually what this was. So how would we change that?
Well, so you can talk to your surveyor. Don't mind if I
Yeah, go
answer? You can talk to your surveyor who did that and ask for a certified survey map,
Okay,
which is a different type of document. He or she can use that same information and create this document. It's a legal document that
Okay.
gets approved through the Plan Commission, the board, gets recorded, and then in essence, once it's recorded, those lines go away.
got it.
And instead of owning, you know, lot 8 of this and lot 5 of this, and
Yep.
you will own lot 1 of certified survey map number, whatever.
Okay.
And then we're not dealing with those lots. Just for your information, what I am hearing a lot is you know, if you have mortgages or if you're gonna need a mortgage, or they don't like that. They like one lot, they don't like multiple lots
Sure. Okay.
on that. So.
Hey, Tim, question on that certified survey map, and for you with gradients, things like that, are you gonna want topographical elevations on that survey as well? I know I had a survey done, and then I had to have a second survey done like 2 weeks later because I didn't have elevations. So I got the basic 2 surveys.
So the certified survey
I had that too.
does not have to have contours on it, but we're asking for a grading plan, which they would put on what's known as a plat of survey.
Yeah,
So
they may need it from the building department.
Right.
That's a difference. So
So-
what we're requiring is different than what they're gonna possibly need from the building, because Randy requests.
Right.
they
So if
request-
you're going to have to get
Yeah.
a survey done, put
Yeah.
topical elevations, talk to your surveyor, make sure that, and talk
Yeah.
to the village and the city, and make sure you have everything done, because you don't want to have it done twice.
No.
Trust me.
Yes, so what we require doesn't, but when you go to the building department, they may require it, so just a heads up. Yeah.
Okay.
I've fallen into the same trap too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, then I will look for a motion. Oops.
I do have a question, sorry. Are we so we're going from the current size that it is now to a much larger size. Are we still maintaining our percentage of green space?
Yes, yeah, we should be fine. I don't know if I have it in here, but.
Last one, it's still gonna be under.
Size, width, structure, height.
I would think we'd be getting more.
I'd have to double check. I mean, they have enough property.
Yeah, they should be fine.
It's really sizable and it's a percentage, so we're
And
we're okay.
that 3-foot offset, that's where it currently is. Their current structure is at 3 feet,
And when they take,
extending,
yes,
right? So it's
Yeah,
not,
and-
it's not gonna be any more non-conforming.
yeah, correct. And so when you tear down and build brand new, though, you have to replace. You have to ask for permission to put it back where it was.
Okay.
Otherwise, a new structure would have to conform
Yeah.
to the standards.
But it's
Hence
not
the
gonna be
request.
More non-conforming. Perfect.
As a side note, I think as the commission, we need to address the 15-foot height for accessory structures because that's, by the time you get slope and everything, by the time you get that size and you go to proper slope, I mean, cars are getting bigger and getting higher. We need to raise that up, but that's a side note. Because 15 feet is tough. By the time you get an 8-foot garage door in there and then you get, your rafters and your trusses to get a decent slope on it, and it's tough and I think it's confining, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, I think we were actually proposing and asking for 18 feet.
Oh,
Let me see here.
in which case we got to add that in there.
And the way the property does slope,
Yeah.
it's currently built into the hill, so we'd have to dig slightly closer to the house to make sure that it's graded properly.
Oh, yeah, yeah, in the narrative, you did explain that you wanted to have an 18-foot structure. However, 15 feet or less is the standard and so to vary that, you would have to go to the Board of Appeals.
Okay.
Ask for relief of that, not through this avenue here.
So actually, the code, our code, this gets into the idiosyncrasies again.
Okay.
Through conditional use, the planning commission does have the ability to waive, through the general conditional use, does have the ability to waive and vary certain standards, including, I believe, building height.
Oh, it does include for that, okay.
We've done that in the past for other applicants, and there is, I don't have it on hand, but there is a code section that does speak to that.
Thank you.
If it's here for conditional use, that's something that the planning commission can consider as part of their approval.
Even though it wasn't, well, it was requested, I guess.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we bring, if it's not, we could still approve that, right?
You can still approve
Verbal,
that, yes.
okay.
It was called out, I apologize, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm on board for that.
Okay.
We're almost at 18.
Well, otherwise you
Are there any other
waste all that
questions
attic
or
space.
comments
It's just a
this
waste.
time?
Do you,
Is the board okay with this lady speaking?
Absolutely.
I'm a little concerned because we live
Could
in
you please
25
state your name and address?
Deanna Heller, 258 Richmond Drive. So we've been here forever. And when I come into my kitchen, I look out at Kevin and Aaron's yard, and which is nice, but I'm worried about if the garage is so high and comes back 40 feet, that's what I'm going to hit. It's going to, when I come into the kitchen, I'm going to see that right away. That's what I'm worried about. It's going to change my entire view. It's the way it comes out 40 feet that I'm worried about. So if you can picture 258 Richmond Drive and then looking out my kitchen window, I see their yard, see? So that's what our concern is. And unless you want to wait a couple of years, we'll probably not be here anymore, so. But that's what I'm worried about, because I enjoy my coffee in the morning with looking out at the birds, and that's going to have something to do with it. So if you can see how that would affect my view.
Okay,
I mean, I would see that big garage, that's all I'm worried about. If it doesn't have to be that big, or I don't know. Because that's my concern.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. All right.
I would just like to point out that condition 3 specifically says that the new accessory structure meets all building and zoning codes, including a height of no more than 15 feet. I would recommend that somebody make a motion to amend, condition 3 so that it reads as 18 feet.
Okay. Where on this thing? I'll make a motion to approve with the planner's notes, with the exception of the the height to 18 feet, as well as the engineer's recommendations.
Thank you.
With the certified survey map.
Yeah, that's part of Tim's recommendation.
That's, yeah, Tim's.
Is there any other questions or comments? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Review, discussion, and possible recommendation to the village board to approve a certified survey map request of applicant attorney Mary Beth Rantow for a lot line adjustment. This is 0.1 acre parcel located at 132 Maple Avenue, PWV 0929004, is zoned R5 single family residential. Property owners are Chuck and Jody Goss. You want to just give us a heads up on this one?
Yeah, I'll just, so the petitioners are requesting an approval of a CSM to complete a lot line adjustment, like you just said. So it looks like they're proposing to shift the map. They're looking to add to their property. It would make the property 4,000 square feet and 80 feet in width. As the property sits today, it's 3,000 square feet and 60 feet in width. So that's the difference there. The property is zoned as R5. It does require the lots to be 10,500 square feet and 70 feet in width. The resultant lot line will make the parcel conforming in width and more legal non-conforming in size when complete. That's a
Less non-conforming.
Yeah, less non-conforming. Yeah, thank you. Less non-conforming. So just, I think we're clear on that, on what they're requesting, and so depending on your inclination to recommend approval, any conditions you would like to add to this, I just have the 2 conditions. That was the one, that any conditions you want to place on this, and that all engineering comments are satisfied prior to the village signature and recording. And I think the engineer has a report here as well.
Yeah, just real quick, it's, this is the classic, here's the line that's close to the house. They want to add some land to it, so they're combining that land with a little piece of land to get one lot. So we're kind of erasing that dashed line there. That dashed line actually shows a couple of easements, a sanitary easement, and then a restrictive covenant for, under some, there must be some kind of a, well, it's a restrictive covenant. I don't know what it was for. I didn't look up the document necessarily, but anyway, the CSM was reviewed. The surveyor has provided an updated survey. I don't have that date, but I do have an updated survey that they took care of my comments. Director of Public Works had a request that they allow, that the owner allow them access to the basement of the house to verify where the sanitary lateral connects to the main and determine the material of the water service lateral. That's a request from the utility side, and they would like that added to the condition of any approval.
Any questions or comments from the board, planning commission?
Lot right now. What is it?
What's that?
Just a random empty lot.
Yep. As far as I know. I mean,
That's what it looks like. And
Yeah,
are you the applicant?
we're Chuck and Jody.
Okay.
We're the owner of the property, and
State your name and address for the record.
Chuck Goss, 132 Maple Avenue,
Okay.
Milwaukee. My wife's Jody. Okay, the only concern that I have, comment I'd like to make, is the part about accessing our basement to see where the sanitary sewer and stuff is hooked up. We're already hooked up into Maple Avenue. The easement and the sewer line that runs across that easement goes back 3 lots to service the 3 new properties that are up on Prospect by the school that Aspen built. So I don't see why it's necessary for the department to have to come into our basement to look at where our sewer and water is, because it's been there for 47 years.
Yeah. I believe the access.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, but the reason I believe that they want to see it is because that they could trace it that way and actually know where it's at. Because right now they just assume it's in place.
You mean when they, okay, years ago, when they widened the road, okay, the Department of Natural Resources had a program, and they came around the lake and they slip lined laterals because there was leaking sewage into the lake. Okay, our house did not have that. Okay,
Right.
we had like a 4-inch, I forget the name of it, the tar and paper. Orangeburg pipe. Okay, we had the 4-inch, so that wasn't up to standard. So when they widened the road, they put the main up the road, and at that point in time, where our sidewalk and driveway is, we hooked into the sewer at that point. So it's.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think there's records, and they just want the records.
They don't have records from that?
Probably not. Laterals typically don't get, as Tim can testify, laterals are spotty. The main, they probably have the mains record, but typically laterals are spotty.
I mean,
this is just them coming in and putting a wire in.
We don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, okay, like, when we got the letter and the email and stuff, I saw that in there, and I'm like, well, that seems kind of odd.
I think they
It
just
wouldn't
want-
be on record.
This is our opportunity to get
Clean
your
it up.
permission to stop by, and I can have I can tell the utility superintendent, you're willing to stop by and talk about it at least,
We don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Okay, I just thought it was unusual that.
Yeah, I think it comes down to records, really, is, they may not know where that lateral is. The current people that work for the village in the utility may not know where the lateral is. I don't know if they were around when they redid the sewer or what.
I can show them where it is.
So a lot of all the lateral is owned by you, right? So the city doesn't, the villages typically didn't keep a record of that because it's not their asset, right? So now they're wanting to keep records of at least where it's at to notice. So,
Okay, we understand. I just wanted to question.
they promise they'll take their shoes off before they go in your house.
No, Jody was concerned about maybe there was some confusion where they
Oh,
thought
okay,
we
yeah.
needed to hook into the lateral line or
No.
the main on the
I think-
easement,
No.
which we don't.
No, you're good.
Okay, thank you.
So,
So this is approval with the recommendations then? Is that what we're looking for?
does everybody understand what's going on here? Okay.
The recommendation for the village.
Okay.
It's another certified survey.
Ah, certified survey maps.
Any further discussion? Someone like to make a motion?
I'll motion to send this to the village board for approval with the certified survey map and the engineer's recommendations and the planner's recommendations to merge the 2 plots.
I'll second. Off.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Item 7, citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with, commission members on any topic they choose. However, due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the commission is not able to answer questions or respond to your comments. All comments should be directed to the commission. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers are asked to use the podium and state their name and address For the record, is anybody here that wants to make a comment? Okay, then we're going to go to item 8, which is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Grabowski.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone.